Nick, at this point in camp, how much of the roster is set in your mind? How much of your conversations at night with Howie and coaches are about the roster?
Yeah, a lot. We talk about that daily, and to say what's set, what's not set. I mean, there's been so much work that's done. To like you can imagine, like all the work that's done today. There's not gonna. I mean, today's practice counts in it as well, but. I mean, every day is an evaluation, and now we're at the last day of training camp. So everything will be in consideration. So I don't want to say hey, a percentage of this or that, but like they've been going through a competition through the entire training camp and off season.
Nick, with a couple of better.
This has averaged about almost 20 minutes longer this year than last summer. Only 20% more reps this summer than last summer. How did that serve you, and how do you think?
Is that documented? The 20% and all the.
Just under.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so say that again.
Say 17.
17. Okay, gotcha.
Something like that. But how did those extra reps, longer practices, as far as conditioning, as far as learning, how did that serve you guys?
Yeah, I think we've had a good training camp. Guys have worked hard. Guys have competed well, and it's been a really exciting training camp. I feel like we've gotten better throughout the not only when you grind together like we have throughout this training camp. I think guys get closer naturally. They get better, and yeah, I just felt like it's been we got a good practice coming up today. Kind of like we'll treat again like one of our joint practices, very similar to what we had the other day. So it'll be a long practice, and but yeah, I think it's been good, and guys have gotten better, and it's been exciting.
With a couple of veterans you have that have missed a lot of time, like Paris Campbell and Warren Burks, in the evaluation process, how much do you look at what they've done in their past versus the limited window you've seen from them in camp?
Yeah, sure. Everything's in play. Obviously, that'd be crazy of us not to take everything into account. So, yeah, everything's in play.
Nick, you said in the past that you showed the team like clips of players that did something extraordinary in like the final preseason game that helped them make the team. I think you cited like Austin Eckler in the past. That you're doing that again this year, and you have like recent examples of guys your tenure here that have earned spots like in that final game.
Sure. Yeah. We'll probably do something similar to that again. But as far as the guys here, I mean, we had a good amount of undrafted free agents make it right the last couple years. Names that come to my mind: Covey and Josh Jobe and Ben Van Sumeren, right? So those are a couple guys that come to my mind.
In terms of the offense, what's popped up in training camp that didn't come up in OTAs in terms of just something that may have surprised you about the organization of it? Players, building it, ideas.
I'm sorry. Ask that one more time.
What popped up in training camp that wasn't really in consideration OTAs?
Well, the one main thing is that there's pads on, and that's how football is played, is with the pads on. So, yeah.
In March, Jeffrey Lurie said that you were going to find the sweet spot in finding kind of like with your passion, staying authentic to yourself in terms of that, but also kind of reining it in certain circumstances on the sideline, perhaps, maybe in your dealings with others. How have you gone about doing that?
Yeah, again, we're always, all of us, the moment we stop growing and trying to grow in our profession and grow as, people, as players, as coaches, is the moment you might as well not be doing it anymore. So we're constantly trying to evolve everything that we do to, you go through adversity and you think about what can I do better in adversity. You go through hard time or good times and you think about what could I do better. So everything's always in a constant evaluation of yourself. That's accountability, right? And so, to point out a specific thing, I mean, I've worked a lot on a lot of different things just to make sure that that I'm being the best head coach that I possibly can be. And so I wouldn't say,
Sideline thing, something that you have consciously thought about. I know it's only been preseason games. The passion probably isn't there as much as it would be.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about preseason. I want to win those games too.
Yeah. That's something that you feel like in certain circumstances that you dial it down.
One thing that one thing that I read when I was reading a leadership book this off season was, if you want everyone around you to have accountability and you want yourself to have accountability, then you fussing at the refs is not. It's almost like, hey, this happened, so I'm going to blame that, right? And so when I heard that, when I read that, I was like, yeah, that hit me like some sort of way. Like when I think about me, with a referee potentially on the sideline, I'm like, and I complain about a call. Is that really sending the right message to the rest of the team as far as our accountability goes? Again, when something goes wrong, the answer should be, how do we fix this and what are the solutions, as opposed to looking for a scapegoat, I guess to say, is how I read it in the book. And that hit me a certain way because, with our core values being what they are, our connect, our accountability, our toughness, our detail, with our core values being that, and accountability being such a big one, I looked at that as that doesn't mean like I'm not going to be perfect. I already know that, but that's definitely on my mind. You brought up the sideline, the stuff. Like, I'm going to still be super energetic when we score. I can't and when we have good plays, because that's one of the things that you love about football is the camaraderie of, like, I'm telling our guys, hey, when you make a play, I can't wait to see what you guys do to celebrate with each other within the rules of the game, right? Be yourself, have fun, do it within the rules of the game. And so, like, that's going to still be there. But I think the one thing, Jeff, is that I really thought a lot about, that hit me some certain way when I read that book of, the accountability piece. And so, we're always in a work in progress. I'll be a work in progress until I'm done coaching, until I die, I feel like, just because, that's just what I've always been taught, and you're always striving to get better at everything that you do.
Since the practice squad rules changed a couple of years ago, how much differently do you guys look at that? Do you almost look at it as that is part of our roster? And
oh, of course. Yeah, of course. And it's different in the sense of, it doesn't have to be particularly, I think it used to be first 2 years, or if you were on a roster, you couldn't be on it. And so it gives you opportunities to have veterans on your practice squad. It gives you opportunities to have guys that you develop on your practice squad. But it's a long, grueling season, as we know. 17 games in this league is a grind, and it's once a week, and it is a absolute grind. And so, unfortunately, there are going to be bumps and bruises, and we'll need everybody on this team to be ready to go. The other thing that you really take into account is, like, practice is where you get better, right? Practice is where you get ready to play the game. And so the practice squad guys are so critical for the reps that now they're playing a different defense or a different offense to get the other guys ready, and then them going hard and pushing the other guys is going to get those guys ready to play. And so it serves of, like, hey, that practice squad, we have to have guys in there that we want to develop and be ready to go to be players in the future, whether that's in a upcoming year or this year, and also guys that are selfless, that are trying to do everything they can do, not only to get themselves better, but also their teammates better.
on days when the ends today, not that anything ends today, Nick, but training camp, 2 or 3 things you've seen from Jalen maybe that have stood out to you this summer?
Yeah, again, I just feel like he's had an outstanding camp. And I'm really excited about where he is, just, in complete control of the offense, delivering accurate balls, protecting the football. He's had a really, really outstanding camp. Taking what the defense gives him, whether that's pushing the ball down the field like you saw yesterday with a deep shot to AJ, or checking the ball down to Saquon like he did yesterday as well. So, just what an unbelievable camp he's had. I'm really excited for his year.
On days when the pass rush is causing problems for the offense, as the head coach, how do you know whether to interpret that as encouragement about the pass rush or concern about the O-line depth?
Yeah, good question, Zach. We know we have abilities to be able to rush the passer, right? And you look at it. You can look at it two different ways. You can look at it like, well, defense winning with the pass rush today. Awesome job, defense. We got great depth, like you said, or great pass rush. But then, really, as a coach, you're always right, wrong, or indifferent. You're going to look at the negative stuff first, and I think it's been to go back to the first part of the question is I think it's been a good back and forth, and you asked about a certain day. So, as a coach, though, you're always gonna be like, how do we fix the things that we screwed up? It's just what we do. It's like that, like it's why you think about the game you should have won more than you think about the games you did win sometimes, right, wrong, or indifferent. Because it's our job to get things fixed, right, and to duplicate the things we've done well. So it goes back and forth. You're excited about the rush, but you're also like, hey, how do we get better at this particular thing? But I do think it's been a good back and forth all camp.
Finding that defensive players are taking to Vic's coaching style.
Yeah, I think our guys really like Vic and how direct and honest he is. There's not a lot of, you guys talked to him, not a lot of fluff there. Like he's going to tell you, he's going to tell our guys when it's right. He's going to tell our guys when it's wrong. And he's going to help our guys get better. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I've always said this, the relationship between the coach and the player has a chance to develop because the player sees that the coach can get him better. Let me kind of go a little deeper on that. Like, we're not like connection's so big, but we're not just buddies out here, right? Like, the connection can take off if we're not helping that player get better. Then we're just their friends, right? So the connection of the player and the coach can take off when the player realizes that the coach can get them better. And I think that that's the start of any relationship with a coach and a player. It really is. And that's particularly the one there with Vic, is that they know they're going to put him in the right, that coach is going to put him in the right spots, and he's going to help him get better, and that's where the relationship can grow. Go ahead, Martin. Real quick.
30 seconds.
What has impressed you the most about the rookie class in general?
Yeah, they're tough. They're tough. They're ready to go.